Hi everyone, Kevin here from Golf Guy Reviews, and in today's video we're going to be going through the Golfbuddy range. So I've got with me today the W10 watch, the AIM V10 GPS rangefinder, and I've also got the laser rangefinder there, the V10, I believe it's called. Yep, L10. And in today's video, I'm going to run through each of those products. Now, this isn't going to be a full-blown in-depth review of each of them because I've reviewed each of those individually. So if you want to check them out, I've included the link in the description. But in the review today, I just wanted to kind of highlight the range, go through a couple of the features, and let you know which one I personally think is the best. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. Give it a like button if you do, and let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. So we're going to start with the Golfbuddy AIM V10, and first things first, you can see this is absolutely tiny. Look at the size of this rangefinder. It's one of the smallest that I've ever seen. In terms of the capacity, then it has up to 40,000 courses stored within it, so that should be absolutely fine, and you should hope to find all of the courses. And what is the key feature of the unit, besides from the small size, is actually the voice functionality on it as well. So you can see there that it's got a big button on the front, and that means that not only can you see the yardages on the screen, which will give you to the center of the green as well as to the front and the back, but you press the button and it means it will talk and tell you the voices as well.
Hole number 4, 176 yards to green, center.
Now, the voice functionality is quite clear. On a nice quiet day, I can hear it, not a problem whatsoever. I did have a little bit of an issue when I was testing it on a really wet and windy day that I couldn't actually hear it. But the idea is that you've got this clip on the back. In fact, let me show you down here. You've got this nice strong clip on the back, so you clip it onto your belt or even onto your cap. And if you want to, you can just press the voice button and you can hear the yardage without even having to look at the unit. Now, for me personally, I'm so used to just looking at the unit. That's what I do really. I actually just keep it in my pocket rather than clipping on anything. And I just look and quickly see what the yardages are. But if you want the voice capability, it's there for you. The numbers and the information provided is quite small on the screen, but it's a small screen, so you know that's to be expected really. You can't have one of the smallest GPSs and then moan that the numbers are too small. They're gonna be small. But you know, it's just something to be aware of going in. If you find your units are a little bit too small and fiddly, if you struggle with using the smaller buttons on the unit, then maybe this might not be the one for you, and you're gonna actually want a GPS unit that's a bit bigger and bulkier. It charges via USB and has up to 13 hours battery life, I believe, and I used it for a few rounds and I didn't need to recharge it, so that was absolutely fine. It's water resistant, and so it, I think, will be okay in a very light shower, but I wouldn't necessarily want to test it because they don't say that it's waterproof. So, you know, that's something again to be considerate of. But at the price of £120, it is actually pretty good value for money. It's quite inexpensive in that price range, and it has got quite a few features packed into it. It does pick up the hazards on the course, so you can see up to 4 hazards, so bunkers and water and that kind of stuff, front and back. But I did notice that on some of the times when I did use this, it didn't pick up all the hazards. So again, that's something to be aware of. Another thing to consider as well is that you can't record your scores on it. You can only just get your yardages. For me personally, I don't really care because I've got a unit that I do record my scores in it, that I can record my scores in it, and I don't even bother. You know, so to be honest, that's no big deal for me. You've got a couple of other cool little features on this as well. So if you are clipping this on your belt loop, then actually you can flip the screen upside down so that you don't have to keep turning the unit every time you want to see. It's just automatically there. You can flip up and you can read the unit upside down instead. So that's a nice little feature. You've got plenty of language options as well. So I think it's French, German, Spanish. There's plenty of others on there too. And you have the ability with this unit to cast onto your phone. So you can see the yardages on your phone if you want to look at them on a bigger screen. Again, for me personally, if you've bought something for the size of it and the smallest, why then have to carry a big bulky phone in order to see the numbers on a bigger screen? Just use your phone anyway. There's plenty of other free GPS apps out there, so you're kind of, you know, defeating the object of buying a small dedicated GPS rangefinder. If you like the look of the AIM V10, then I've included a link down in the description below to my Amazon Associates account, so you can go check it out there. This currently retails on Amazon for £120, so it's actually quite a cheap little unit. One element with this unit is that actually it can be a little bit tricky to use. So to get to some of the features, you have to press like the power button either once or twice. Once to get to the hazards, twice to get to the ball marking function, so you can actually track how far your shot has gone. But you know, you have to press the power button twice to get there. And you know, again, in regards to if it moves on to another hole, then you have to hold down the plus or minus button to get it onto the hole that you want in case it hasn't picked up the one that you need to be on. But you know, again, that's just the nature of the beast, because it isn't touchscreen, because it has just these 5 dedicated buttons. You just have to know what buttons do what. So again, it's just something to be wary of. If you're not necessarily tech savvy, or you know, you think that might be a little bit confusing for you, then maybe this isn't the one for you, and you might just want to go for something a little bit bigger with a bit more of a touchscreen functionality. Talking of touchscreens, let's take a look at the AIM W10 watch. So this is a touchscreen watch, and it has a color display on it. Again, it has a lot of the similar functionality of the GPS unit. So, you know, it's got plenty of courses on there. It's a rechargeable battery, but this is touchscreen, and the touchscreen is quite responsive actually. It's not as responsive as an iWatch. You know, that's just one of the leading technologies in regards to a smartwatch, but it was responsive enough. It didn't bother me. It wasn't too slow or anything like that. The advantages of having the screen on the watch here compared to the GPS is actually you get a full course layout on the screen on this one, and you can zoom into it and you can get a lot more detail in regards to your yardages and that kind of thing. Another difference as well is that on the watch you can actually track your scores and keep a note of them as you go on the course, which you can't do on the smaller unit of the GPS. But a couple of points to point out as well on this one: you can't actually get those scores off of the watch. So they're forever tracked on there. So if you wanted to keep a note or kind of track, then, you know, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do it with this. The actual quality of the strap feels quite good quality. So on the top here, on this one, you've got this 3 color option. That feels quite nice quality. And you've got this kind of rubber backed lining on the back. So it grips your wrist quite nicely and is a good quality. With the watch on, you can actually see that it is quite big and bulky. Now, I have got really, really skinny wrists, so, you know, it is going to look chunky on me compared to if you've got a bigger wrist. But for me personally, that is quite large on there. And I would perhaps actually struggle to use that for me on a golf round. I think that might be a little bit distracting for me personally. Also, if you have got skinny wrists, then look, that is on the smallest setting possible on the watch strap, and I've still got loads of room there. In fact, look, I can easily spin that around, and so I'm not entirely sold on this for me personally. If you've got skinny wrists, then maybe that's something you're going to want to consider. The quality of the screen and the images is actually quite good. I was quite impressed with that, and all the information is really clear and easy to understand on the course layouts. And because it's touchscreen, it is a little bit more intuitive to use, and you just follow the buttons that you want to press. So again, that's nice, quiet and easy on the watch. But at £250 on their website, that's pretty punchy. So, you know, something to be considered there on that one. Is this the best golf watch out there in that price bracket? I'm not entirely sure. In regards to the quality of the screen, I was pretty impressed with the information and the way it was shown on there. It was nice and clear. The battery life lasted me absolutely fine, so I didn't have any worries that this was going to run out mid-round. And in regards to the price, this is currently on the Golfbuddy website for £250, but it is available on Amazon at the moment for £200. So that's quite a big price swing now. I've included a link down below to my Amazon Associates account if you want to check out that watch. So lastly, we've got the L10 V rangefinder. Now this is quite a nice little rangefinder actually, and currently retails for £270. So it's in that kind of mid-range area. There are definitely cheaper rangefinders out there in the market, but there are also more expensive ones too. Again, if you want to check out my specific review of this, then I've included a link there, so you can click on the link so you can go check that out. But a couple of interesting features. First of all, it includes slope on it, so that's not necessarily an interesting feature in itself, but you know, is a good, personally I think almost a must-have. If you're going to bother spending the money on a rangefinder, you might as well make sure it's got slope. So you can see here that you've got that slope button on the front there, really easy to turn on and off. Here also you've got the battery compartment, so it's not a rechargeable battery, but it is a battery that's going to last you a long time, so you don't necessarily have to worry too much about it. But helpfully they've actually included a battery indicator in the viewfinder as well, so you can actually check and see when that's running low, and you can replace that without it just dying on you on the course. Now, the key feature of this rangefinder is the fact that it's got this voice button on the front here. So when you check your range, if you've got the voice mode turned on, then it will read your range back to you.
163 yards.
Now, I said it in my review video before, not entirely sure who that's aimed for, if I'm being totally honest, because if you're going to use a rangefinder and you can see the yardages on the screen, why do you need that yardage read back to you? I don't know, it gives you maybe a little bit more confidence that you read it right, but personally I just don't quite see the point of it. I see the point of it on the AIM V10 where it's so small and convenient and you don't even have to look at it when it's clipped on your hat. I'm not just holding it on my head, but imagine I'm wearing a hat and you just press the button and it tells you the yardages. Great, I get that. I don't quite get it on the rangefinder, if I'm entirely honest. But again, you know, it feels good quality. It fits nicely in the palm of the hand. I like the ergonomics of the unit. The buttons feel nice and good. You know, there's a good amount of rubber on them. They feel like they're decent quality. The actual quality of the scope down the lens, I was really impressed with that. The information was really clear, and I did find that it was, you know, it is effectively nice and easy to use. But at £270, it's pretty much the most expensive thing on the Golfbuddy website. So between the three, which one do I prefer and which one would I go with? For me, it is definitely the AIM V10. At £120, I just think that you get a much more value for money in regards to getting your yardages nice and simple to use while still being cheap. The watch at £200 or £250 if you buy it on Golfbuddy, that's quite an expensive layout. And I'm not entirely convinced that actually the modes and the quality on offer there is anything better than the other watches available on the market. And personally, I'd much rather spend my money elsewhere and just buy this for £120 instead. In regards to the rangefinder, actually I can't really pick too many bones with the rangefinder. It feels nice and good quality. I'm impressed with it. It works really well. I don't necessarily need that voice functionality on this rangefinder. That's not really for me. But at £270, if you need the accuracy and you want the specific yardages, then you know this is going to do a job for you. But for me personally, I don't. I much prefer actually using a GPS rangefinder instead. So for me, I think that's actually really good value for money. It's a great small little unit. So long as you're happy with the size, as long as you're comfortable using the way that it's laid out, so it hasn't got a touchscreen, then it's going to be actually, I think, quite a good little purchase. As I say, I've included links down below to my Amazon account in case you want to purchase any of these, and I've done full in-depth reviews on each of the units. You can go check them out. I hope you enjoyed this video today, so make sure you hit the like button if you did, and please make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date on all my latest reviews of golf shoes, clothing and tech right here on Golf Guy Reviews.